So there was a post on Twitter by Scarebro, who's a bit of a detective in the Rekieta sphere. But BJ, with his $2 starting off the super chat, says, Nick, Aaron, Easter, all come in April. Very funny. Very, very funny. So Scarebro suggested, rumors imparted to me suggest that this is due to the success of Nick's streaming career following Weeb Wars and Rittenhouse. So that'd be, well, what do you mean by that? Because Nick was a trust fund kid. So, but he had finally reached a point in his life where he was providing for himself and his family, and he didn't need daddy's money. So were they potentially going to take the trust fund away from him? And he couldn't go back to the cheap lifestyle. Maybe he had to take out this loan because he wanted to keep living large, you know? You got to enjoy your money while you're young, of course. It's not going to be fun when you're old and boring. That's ridiculous. But so yes, but before Depp versus Heard, Mummy and Daddy were going to adjust Nick's trust fund payout, as Nick had finally found something that could support his family without training wheels. As the story has been alleged, Nick wanted to enjoy both his newfound success and his usual trust fund payouts. In his usual fit of, fuck you, Dad, pulled out a loan against the only asset his parents had given him any control over, the house owned by a trust, allegedly. This is all just a theory, a Baldo theory. But this is probably the most reasonable. I know that sounds crazy, but this is probably the most reasonable theory that I've read so far, unless there's like some sort of secret medical condition. Now, Nick has been shaking all his entire life. He just says it's like something, you know, just some sort of tick or something. Maybe it's something to, like, I don't know. Some people are suggesting Parkinson's or something. I don't think so. But, you know, those are on the table as well. Axie with a $5 says, I guess you could say the county loans took his home. Thank you very much. Yes, indeed, indeed. So this is an interesting theory. It does sound stupid enough to try. It does sound stupid enough to try. All right. Let's go into some of these other things. You can see here, let's go back into the details. Let's see. All right. So according to the notice, the house will be sold by the sheriff on February 4th, 10 a.m. Now, it's funny. When I do these streams, like these Nick streams, I always think, well, like this is the last stream I'll do. Like there's going to be no more information about it. Maybe we'll do like the body cam watch if it ever comes out. And I'm always kind of thinking in the back of my head, I think we've squeezed this lemon to the end. Like there's no more juice to be had. But somehow he always finds a way. Life finds a way. But there you go. If you're going to set your date, if you want to go to the auction, I suppose. Property will be sold by the sheriff of said county as follows, date and time, February 4th. So we're looking at the end of July is looking to be a bit of a spice. July? January. Because January around 25, 27 is when he has the plea settlement. And then a few days later, we're going to have to see if his house actually gets sold. Now, again, I don't think it will, because I think that the parents are going to buy it for him. And that may be why they have so much leverage over him to make him kick April to the curb, as we know from the last time we talked about this. I'm kind of curious. What do you think, Chad? Why is he doing this? Why would you take out the loan? Is it just thinking about today at the expense of tomorrow? Who gives a shit about paying your bills or living a normal lifestyle? You can party today. That sounds like a good deal. That's paying off those debts. That's tomorrow's problem. That's tomorrow's problem. Does April come in the price? Maybe.
Like I learned from better people than me how to deal with money. Money's a fleeting thing. People who don't have it will never understand. You might have it one day, you might not the next day. But
I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
If you've never had it, you want to understand that it could be gone tomorrow.
That's very true words. True words have never been said. Let's see. What's this one? I think that audio is out of sync. That's why it's like looks like it's muted, but it's not.
Andrew Sun says you could easily say I paid for my house with my own money if it were true. Andrew Sun, I paid for my house with my own money.
Okay, how did he do this? That like we're beyond the point of believing anything Nick says. Everything he says is just a lie. But consider the facts for yourself, right? So Nick worked as a very low position in a bank, sales, and he was bad at it as well. He didn't like that. He would just read books when everyone else was doing like actual work. And I believe at some point he was also not really a teller, but maybe administrator or something like that. Like he had a very run-of-the-mill job essentially. So that was his first job. He did a few other finance jobs, I believe, but they're all like very low level. They're not like 100K packages or anything. Then he decides to quit that because it's way too boring. Then he goes to night school, or I guess it's just like full-time school, law school, for 2 to 3 years, I believe, to become a lawyer at the second worst rated law school in America. Although, to be fair, they do have a Supreme Court justice. And then he somehow starts his tiny mall strip law office. And he's able to pay for, and during this entire time he's going to school, he's able to pay for a family of 5 and also pay off a $600,000 home with no mortgage. And he did this with his own money. Does that make sense to anybody? Does anyone figure, does this math work out for anyone? No, of course his parents bought him the house. Of course they did.
There you go.
Well, there you go.
Did that help you? Will you sleep better at night? Like, yeah, it's mine.
Well, I mean, maybe not for much longer. I mean, you've got a little bit over a month to come up with $300,000. I think it would be very funny, though, if his, like, obviously I'd prefer, I think it'd be better if he kept the house. But maybe he's not smart enough to be the administrator of the house anymore. I think the parents have to take control of it. They should buy it at the auction to make sure that he doesn't make any more dumb decisions and ruin his children's inheritance or something. That'd be my opinion. So let's take a step back. Let's have a little look at Instagram. Everybody loves Instagram. Now, if we look at my schizo time board, you can see that the loan came out in April. April 1st. The date may have actually been around April 7th or something. I've heard that as well, but it says on the documents April 1st. We're going with April 1st. So what was Nick doing at this time? Let's see. So he's taking out a loan of about $300,000. He paid off, well, to be fair, he did pay off $8,000 of this loan. So he did try for a little bit. You know, he did a little bit. You know, $8,000, that's enough. Let's buy a Mustang. But anyway, so we jump back in time to Nick's Instagram, April 1st. Let's see what he was doing. So he actually has a picture of donuts. Okay, why is this relevant? God, I love Texas. So as of April 1st, the same time he's taking out this loan, he's in Texas. Now, why is Texas important? Because Texas owns the trust to his house. That's where it's located. And that's also where Ty Beard and his asset protection legal firm is. What else was he doing in April? Let's have a look. Oh, that's right. He went to a charity auction where he met Kevin Costner and bought his guitar. So I guess like, oh, well, maybe he needs the money. Maybe he needs the money for like an emergency medical bill, like he didn't tell us about or something. Well, one thing he did need the money for was buying a guitar from Kevin Costner. Meeting Kevin Costner with Lady Rackets. We also got the opportunity to make a nice donation to this, the Cohen Center for the Arts. My grandmother was a big supporter. Well, I mean, she is a big supporter because all your money comes from her. The legacy carries on to her children. He's given up. And now I get to participate in a supporting place that enriches the Tyler area. It was great fun. Now, Tyler, Texas is also where Ty Beard is. So there you go. So I do believe that maybe, well, Ty Beard may have been the idea guy in this brilliant mortgage your paid for asset so that you can keep living the rock star, like literally rock star like lifestyle. So this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning of his stupid purchases. Now,
TV's Will Herron, like the bird. Afternoon, yo. What's up, brother?